Hello there, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. So we've got a very simple one today. These packets of tissues. Now this has been in my handbag probably a week. I have used one tissue and I must admit I would be embarrassed if somebody asked me, do you have a tissue? Just because, you know, it's all a bit grubby. But there's nothing wrong with them, and use one tissue and then throw the whole packet away. So to counteract that, what I'm going to do today is make a patchwork tissue holder. Now the reason I'm using patchwork is just because I have it, and you don't have to, okay? It's just, I was kind of going around thinking, oh, what should I make it out of? And well, I might as well make it out of this. I do have them. They are mine to use. So, right side to right side. I've got quite a collection here. These are, well, I think they're leftovers actually. So, I am just using them up. So, they're not very well cut, I must admit. And I'm not intentionally doing the same pattern. Now I reckon each one, let's pick a blue one, it's that blue. I reckon each packet will probably take yes, each packet will probably take a strip of 3 patchworks. Now I'm going to do more because it's just embarrassing when you don't cut enough, isn't it? So, what is wrong with you, machine? What a shame. Now normally when it bunches up like that, it means that the tension's wrong on your bobbin. I did just change the cotton to a very cheap one. I thought, oh, that'll do. And so I didn't have to unthread it, so I was being a bit lazy. Now this is going to be on the inside, so I'm so not worried about it. Okay, get rid of my sewing machine, get rid of that so you can see. Now, even though these tissues are going in the bin, I can still use them as a guide to my size, can't I? So what I have here, my packet of tissues, and I need this to come over, and then I need enough just to do a little lip. And then I'm going to attach it with these poppers. So I can get rid of that. Now to do the size of the width, each size needs half the depth of this packet. So what I'm going to say is that side, well, it equals that. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, it's going to be a bit more confusing just because of the edges when we're doing it with these patchwork squares, but hopefully we can keep up. So I'm going to take one of them, and what I want to do is I want to sew a pocket. Now what I want on this pocket is it to have a little foot. So I'm going to sew a little bit, and then it's going to make a kind of triangle. So now I don't want it too far down, so I'll just do it to there. Now one side's going to be the lining and one side's going to be the outer. So what I need to do is remember to leave a hole in the lining, so that I can turn it all inside out. Now you can laugh if you want, but I'm not very good at remembering that sort of thing. So yes. Okay, so what I've got now is I've got my little inch seam there, and I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to sew along the edges here just to make the little pouch. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick that out of the way, so I'm not actually sewing the first bit that I sewed. Yeah, I know I should stop and I should give it some oil and some better quality thread. It's only in the bobbin that it's bad. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew till about there. Now the reason I'm going to sew and leave the gap in, I'm going to do the difficult bits on the sewing machine so that this gap, which is enough just to turn it inside out, is nice and easy for me. Okay. So that's one bit done. Yeah, I can put that on my done pile. Now, the next part, I do need to match it up. So I'll just take that square and line it up, fold it over, and I need to do my 1/4 of an inch up. And then I need to take it and I need to fold it 1/2 an inch up so that I've got my little foot. So I'm going to sew my foot and then I'm going to sew my sides, but I'm going to make sure my other foot is out of the way. And this one's going to be the outside, so I need to sew up both sides. Okay. Yeah, I'm sewing up my 1/4 foot. And then I'm sewing up the side. Okay, now it's gonna, all these loose ends are going to be tucked inside, but I do know it's confusing to watch when I do that. Now I've gone back to my lining. I'm going to turn this one inside out. I'm going to place my inside out lining inside my outer shell. Now this is to make it so that the right sides are the right sides together for when I'm sewing. Now I'm just pushing it down with the scissors, although it might be better if I just adjust it slightly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around the top and around this front part here. So nice and easy, quite an easy sew. I'm going to try and keep my hem quite tidy though, because this is going to be visible. Made me jump. Okay, so what I've done now is I've sewn the two lips together, and what I've done also is I've left my needle down and I've lifted my foot. Now what I'm going to do is sew these two front flaps together. So it's a matter of folding it away and then lining up these two front pieces. So I'm going to just take a second just to make sure that my seams are all nicely lined up, and if my foot curls when I turn it, then I'm just going to get a pin and I'm going to squidge that out of the way. two bits are now sewn together. What I need to do is go to the hole in the lining and turn it, not inside out, well, yeah, okay, turn it inside out, I suppose is a good enough word. So everything goes through that hole. And what we should be left with is the two packets, the two little boxes out like this. So we can take the lip as well, so we're getting like a triangle, and whilst there's a hole in the lining we can just push that through, and it makes it easier just to do it now. If you don't, then it's kind of like you have to sort of rub it if we forget. So now that everything is round the right way, even if not in the right position, I am just going to push in these loose ends so they fold in quite naturally. Any loose threads that I have I can also push in, and I'm going to sew. And that's sewn up the hole where we turned it inside out to sew it. So, I know it looks a bit like an alien shape spacecraft. Now what I need to do is I need to push this lining into the outer cover. And then I can straighten it all up. Make sure my feet are all nicely popped out. And it's quite nice to have a packet of tissues just to push it all in, because then it kind of holds its shape and you can push it right through. So it makes life just a bit easier. And we can pull that through there. And check that our points are nice on our flappy bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand sew my poppers on. Now if you've not used these before, then they're great, they really are. Sort of unpack the packet and you'll see that there's two stuck together like that with the cardboard in between. Now sometimes you do get them and they're the same on both sides. This is just because they can be, really. It's just a matter of taste, really, I suppose. Pennies as well, that the cheaper ones are slightly different. Okay, so I've got my needle here, and I always try and thread it through the end with a hole in it, don't ask. And I'm just going to knot it. Now, because we're not going to be doing a lot of hand sewing, I'm not going to wax the string or anything. I'm just going to put a simple knot in it. I'm going to guesstimate where halfway is, and because we did that little measure thing, then we can just adjust where we're going to put this, and then it's a case of threading it through the holes in it. One thing you've got to be, well, okay, alright, if you're doing this with a child and you're teaching a child to sew, then you will find, as I have found with every child that I've taught to sew, they will want to put their thread through the centre hole. It's just so inviting. So yeah, if you do that, then the popper won't work because it will be too big because of the extra thread. So, but yeah, we'll just follow through the holes, and that's kind of, doesn't need that many stitches. And yes, I'm putting it through the hole now. So I'm just going to come one more, just come to the back. Careful that I'm not picking up the back lining here. And then I can just do a little knot. So I threaded it through the hole of, I've made a loop in the hole and then I've threaded it through. So, and that's enough of a knot, and I can just tidy up all my loose ends, including the needle. And then take the opposite one and sew it on again. Now, yeah, it would be nice if you did it before you sewed this on, so that you can keep it all nice and in line. I'm going to just sew through the top half, and I'm going to leave the knot underneath so that we can't see it. Okay, so I can see it, but I don't know if I can pick it up. Oh, there we go. And then again, yeah, through these little holes, through the outside, and yeah, a very sweet little thing that if you wanted to make small gifts for people, then it would be a great thing, but just handy to have about. And you know, you can glance in your handbag and you can see it sort of jump out because you've chosen bright colours. And because you've lined it completely, then it should last forever. Safe to go through the washing machine on, obviously not with the tissues in it, but yeah, it is all good, all good. Yeah, my hand sewing is appalling. But I'm putting the needle in and then I'm pushing the fabric out from behind, so there's no stitches on the actual front. I'm going to put another stitch on this side just to make sure that it stays over, because it's wafting into the middle. Okay, pull that tight. So again, I'm going to loop it round, form a little knot, and then I'm just going to push it down with my fingers, and away we go. So, oops, there we are, a little packet of tissues ready for anybody's handbag. Thank you ever so much for watching. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee.